Hello everyone at St John's School, all the children and all the staff. Normally the Open the Book team would have been coming in to do some stories with you over this year, but as you know, because of the pandemic, they haven't been able to do that. But they really missed you, and they really wanted to do something particularly for Christmas. So we are in St John's Church here, right by your school, recording a special Christmas play for you, which is called Papa Panov, and it's a special Christmas story, and we really hope you enjoy it, and we really look forward to seeing you in person next year. Let the play begin.
It was Christmas Eve. The lights danced merrily in the streets. Families laughed and sang and unwrapped their presents. But Papa Panov, the old village shoemaker, sat in his home alone. His wife was dead, his children grown up and moved away. He lifted down the old Bible from the shelf sat down in his old wooden chair and began to read. He read the story of Christmas. He read about Mary and Joseph, tired and hungry, with nowhere to stay.
Dearie, I would have given them a room. There is plenty of space in this old house of mine.
He read about the shepherds too, and the angels, and 3 kings from the east bearing gifts.
Dearie, if Jesus came here, I shouldn't have anything to give him.
Then his eyes sparkled. He got up from the table, went to the high shelf, and took down a dusty box. He opened the box and unwrapped a pair of tiny leather shoes. They were the best shoes he had ever made.
That's what I would have given Jesus. My very best work.
Then his head dropped slowly. And Papa Panov fell fast asleep. All Christmas Eve he slept, and while he slept he dreamt. He dreamt of his wife and of his children and of the happy Christmases they had shared. He saw their faces just as he remembered them, laughing and singing and shining with joy. And just as the aching sadness of that dream became too much for him to bear, Papa Panov heard a voice in his room.
I am Jesus. I have seen your loneliness and your sorrow, and so this Christmas Day I shall visit you. Watch for me, Papa Panov. Be sure you recognize me, for I shall not say who I am.
The old man woke with a start. The morning sun was shining in his eyes. It was Christmas Day. And if the dream was true, then Jesus was coming to visit him. Papa Panov tidied up his house. He put a pot of fresh coffee on the stove. And then every few minutes he peeked out of the window. And that's when he saw the man. It could have been Jesus walking slowly down the street. But as the man got closer, Papa Panov recognized him. It was the village street sweeper, faithfully doing his job, even on Christmas Day. Papa Panov opened his door and called to the man.
You look cold, my friend, and it must be lonely out there on Christmas morning. Come and join me for a cup of coffee.
The street sweeper hurried into Papa Panov's house. He dusted the snow from his shoulders. He rubbed his freezing hands together. Papa Panov handed him a hot mug and returned to his place at the window and gazed up and down the street.
Are you expecting visitors?
Have you heard of Jesus?
Yes.
He's coming today.
As the road sweeper drank his coffee, Papa Panov told him all about his dream. The road sweeper set down his cup.
Well, I hope your dream comes true. Thank you for your kindness and your coffee. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
He picked up his broom and went back to sweep the streets. 1 hour passed, then 2, and slowly the street became busy. Papa Panov put a pot of cabbage soup on the stove and watched the neighbours wander off to visit their relatives. But still, there was no sign of Jesus. Then Papa Panov saw a young woman he didn't recognise. She walked slowly along the street, a bundle in her arms. And because her clothes were torn and ragged, she shivered with every step. Papa Panov opened his door again and called to the girl.
Come here. Come in from the cold.
Papa Panov poured out another cup of coffee and gave the girl a seat close to the stove. He offered to take the bundle, but the girl clutched it tightly to her chest. And then the bundle began to cry.
My little girl is hungry.
So Papa Panov warmed some milk. And then Papa Panov noticed that the little girl had no shoes.
I have no money to buy my baby any shoes.
Papa Panov's thoughts flew to the little box on the shelf.
But those shoes were for Jesus.
The baby girl cried again. And another look at those frozen toes settled the argument once and for all. Papa Panov reached up, took the box down from the shelf, and gave the little shoes to the young woman. The young woman was overjoyed.
How can I thank you enough?
Papa Panov looked out of the window again.
Have you heard of Jesus? He's coming here today.
And he told her all about the dream.
Well, I hope your dream comes true. You are so good to my baby.
And with that, she went on her way. The sun was low in the sky now, and there was still no sign of Jesus. But there were plenty of beggars wandering the streets in search of a little Christmas cheer. Papa Panov opened his door to them. He had a pot of cabbage soup, after all. And they slurped down the soup gratefully.
Thank you.
was dark after the last beggar left. Papa Panov was tired. He slumped down in his chair again, more sad and lonely than he had been the night before.
It was only a dream, after all. I wanted to believe it so much. I wanted Jesus to come.
And 2 great tears welled up in his eyes, so he could hardly see. At once, it seemed as if there was someone in the room, and through his tears, Papa Panov seemed to see a long line of people passing across the shop. The road sweeper was there, and the woman with the baby girl, and the beggars, all the people he had seen and spoken to that day. And as they passed, they whispered, one by one,
Didn't you see me, Papa Panov?
Didn't you not see me, Papa Panov?
Didn't you see me, Papa Panov? Didn't you see me, Papa Panov? Didn't you see me, Papa Panov?
Who are you? Who are you? Tell me.
Then came the same voice as the night before.
I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me water. I was cold, and you took me in. The people you helped today, all the time you were helping them, you were helping me.
Then everything was quiet. The tears dried in the old man's eyes, and there was no one to be seen.
Dearie, dearie. Jesus came after all.
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas,
everyone!
everyone!